But you know, you can't fully blame Nate for his delusions, can you? You know who's actually responsible for this?
Who?
Boom, we are back. I've honestly been dreading doing this video the past couple days. I've been thinking of how to deliver it because I know a lot of you are going to hate this. Some of you may unsubscribe, and I'm fine with that. There's no easy way to say this, but it's time to have an uncomfortable conversation about Nate Diaz. Lock in. Let me start this video off by saying I know that what I'm saying to some people is about to sound like blasphemy.
How dare you?
I know how MMA fans are, and let me just get this out the way. You have to have some level of delusional optimism to achieve great things in your life. Like, there's some times where you see a vision that just other people just cannot see. But there is a point where the delusion consumes you. And then you start saying shit like this.
What do you think of Ilya?
I'm like 20 years. He's a little bitch too. Like, I'm years ahead of him for betterment, had better fights, and they're like, he sucks. And he just said I sucked or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you suck. He was saying some dumb shit. I had beat up Jake Paul in boxing, like, all cool, like he sucked and shit. And I was taking offense, like, oh, so you just said, like, he sucks, I'll just beat it up. I'm like, you want to do shit, I'll beat the fuck out of the boy.
Now, I don't care if Nate Diaz is your first cousin or if you grew up in that shithole Stockton 3 doors down from him. You know, and I know, that if Nate Diaz was standing across the octagon or the hexagon on Saturday from Ilya Taporia, his head would have landed in Jake Paul's lap. There's just a level of delusion that him and his whole entire team actually live under that's just separated from reality. But you know, you can't fully blame Nate for his delusions, can you? You know who's actually responsible for this?
Who?
I blame the UFC for this. There was a perfect storm that happened with Nate Diaz defeating Michael Johnson, randomly calling out Conor McGregor even though they weren't even in the same weight class. And the UFC, when the Rafael dos Anjos Conor McGregor fight fell out, they had a whole list of names that they were going through, and they decided on Nate Diaz because they thought he was the most beatable option for Conor. They wanted Conor to go out there and destroy Nate and keep on going in the trajectory that he was going. But as fate would have it, Nate Diaz beat Conor McGregor and set in motion this world of delusion that he lives under currently. Had Nate not won that fight against Conor McGregor, we would not be sitting here right now. Because if Conor won, there would have been no rematch and Nate would have faded back into obscurity. But he did win. And there was a rematch. And the rematch was competitive. Some people thought Nate won.
I mean, what are you going to do?
So Nate continues on with a pocket full of star power that he nicked off Conor. Goes on, beats Anthony Pettis, former lightweight champion. And that right there was what set the entire BMF title into motion.
With this belt, I want to defend it against...
Is this nigga serious?
Jorge Masvidal had a good last fight.
They wanted to make Nate Diaz and George Masvidal a main event. And Nate Diaz just comes out of his mouth and said, I'm going to make my own belt. We're going to make the BMF belt. And what does the UFC do? They do it.
Huh?
At this point, this dude's like, I got powers and shit, motherfucker. I got powers. I can make my own belt. I could do my own thing. His head's gassed up. This dude, who's going to tell him any different?
Brain damage.
So now he goes forward. He goes and fights George Masvidal. Doesn't win the BMF belt. Remember that. That's going to be important later on in the video. And then after that, somehow gets gifted a fight against one of the best welterweights in the world. Almost wins after getting his ass whooped thoroughly for 5 rounds. When he has Leon rocked, decides to point and clip farm and emote instead of going in for the kill. Loses the fight. Now, after that fight, the entire MMA world is treating that moment where he almost won against Leon Edwards as him winning the fight. If you had no idea what was going on in MMA, you would probably think that he won the fight. Nobody was talking about Leon Edwards beating the shit out of him for 20 minutes, for 24 minutes and 50 seconds. All everybody was talking about was Nate Diaz rocking Leon and almost getting him out of there in the last moment of the fight. Nasty work. Now, after this, the UFC is like, all right, this guy, his head's too big. We got to get him out of here. They set him up to get squashed by Khamzat Chimaev. What? Now, I don't know what kind of CTE gods are looking after Nate Diaz, but that night they looked out in a completely different way, because Nate Diaz was set up to get dog walked, destroyed, and exit the UFC with no kind of negotiating power. And by some divine miracle, he got spared that. Khamzat Chimaev missed weight by a mile, and he got fed Tony Ferguson instead. And in a complete dog shit fight where they're walking around huffing and puffing, leaning over on their knees, Diaz wins the fight against Tony Ferguson by guillotine and exits the UFC with, I guess you can say, some bargaining power. I don't know why, but he did.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
So after the Tony Ferguson fight, he exits the UFC. And as soon as he exits the UFC, he's already talking about coming back. They got some unfinished business. I need to go get my belt back. Right? Goes, gets his ass whooped by Jake Paul in boxing. After that, goes, gets his ass whooped again in boxing, but gets gifted the decision. Takes some well-deserved time off after that. But he's talking about going back to the UFC. He's still yammering on, I need to get my belt back. I'm going to get my belt back. And the whole time you have people like Ariel Helwani. I don't know why he does this, but every time they're in an interview together, Ariel Helwani is always just gassing the shit out of Nate Diaz's head. Like, yes, Nathan, we're all eager to have you back. Eager to have you back and do what? I don't understand this. I don't understand this, which is why I'm here making this video. I'm trying to understand why the MMA world is going along with this delusion. Are you guys all high too? I don't get it. But leading up to the fight that happened last week, I actually picked Nate Diaz to win the fight against Mike Perry. I thought if a well-trained, focused Nate Diaz showed up, he would have a huge grappling advantage on Mike Perry, and I thought Mike Perry would gas out. And then fight week came. And then we got shit going on like this. The moment I saw that video, I was like, oh yeah, he's cooked. But I had already put the video out, so I wasn't gonna go in and amend it. I was just like, you know what? This motherfucker's cooked. And all the people, I see the comments on these videos, people were at that point starting to wake up. They're like, yo, what the fuck is he doing? This guy's at an open workout, just smoking weed, trying to fight the cameraman, looking like just a complete retard.
Special officer duty.
He looked slow. He couldn't finish a sentence in any interview that he had. He was just looking off into the distance, just high and just out of it. I'm looking around like, where is his team? Where is the person that's gonna be like, yo, Nate, you made a few million fighting Jake Paul. You did this. You don't have anything else to prove. You won the Ultimate Fighter. You beat Conor McGregor. You stole some of his star power. You stole even more of the money. Like, yo, pack it up. Pack it up, bro. You are cooked. You're about to go out there and get hurt. You have kids and shit. This guy goes out there on Saturday night and just gets fucking destroyed. Mike Perry just beat Nate Diaz's ass in a way that was just sad. I felt just a weird mix of emotions at the corner of disgust and sorrow. And after the fight, he's still talking like, yeah, I'm not done. I want some more. No. Somebody in his team needs to step up and say, dude, you're 40 years of age. Like, you're rich. You need to stop. It's over. It's fucking over. No one wants or needs to see Nate Diaz fight anymore. Like, all you have to do is look at his right eye the wrong way and he'll bleed. He'll bleed enough for the fight to end. The fight last week, he probably suffered life-altering damage in that fight. He was getting fucking bombed on. Someone in his team needs to step up and just let it end. Like, the next time he reaches out to Dana, Dana needs to just be like,
I literally went in the back and called the FBI.
hey, listen, we're not interested anymore. Someone's got to step in and stop Nate and save Nate from himself. Seriously, because it's gone on long enough. And with that, I'm out of here. This is coming from a place of love. I know a lot of you guys are going to hate me after this shit, but somebody needs to say it. Good night and good luck.